going on, marshmallows? Connor Thomas here. So today I'm going to be talking about how I lost 40 pounds naturally, gradually, and in a healthy manner over the course of 5 to 6 months. So as you guys know, I just competed in my first physique show, which if you haven't seen, click the box right here, right in front of me, and you'll see a vlog of my first physique show. So essentially, the way that I lost this amount of weight was, yes, I did cardio. Now, I'm not going to be speaking about cardio today. That will be in a later video of what kind of cardio I did, what kind of cardio you should be doing to lose fat fast, safe, and the quickest way to also retain as much muscle mass as possible. So essentially what I did something called carb cycling. A lot of you guys probably know carb cycling as high-low carbs or low-high carbs. Essentially, so when you're carb cycling, you want to be on a deficit of carbs for about 4 days. Let's just say hypothetically 4 days. You should always listen to your body. So it could be shorter than 4 days, it could be longer. For me, it was about 4 days. Then you go on a 1 day high carb cycle. But then, after that 1 day, you don't stay on high carbs. You go back on that deficit. So you increase carbs 1 day, and then you go back on that deficit for about 4 more days, or 7 more days, and then you hit another high carb day. So it's usually 4 to 5 days low, 1 day high, 4 to 5 days low, 1 day high, and then you keep cycling like that. And that's where the name carb cycling comes in. So a carbohydrate is made up from 3 solubles. So you have carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen, which mainly come from water sources. So essentially, a carbohydrate, yeah, you can eat something like chips or a Pop-Tart or unhealthy carbs. But in this case, you want to be eating complex carbs or glucose carbs. So essentially what that would be is something like potatoes, mainly sweet potatoes, red potatoes, or baked potatoes. Or you could be eating something like rice. So I was eating white rice. Now you have the option of eating white rice or brown rice. That's totally up to you. It's definitely personal preference. Both very healthy for you. Another source of carbohydrates that I was eating is I was eating plain oats. So like I said, we have potatoes, rice, oats, and then I was also eating lentils, beans, and other carb sources like so. All complex carbs are all glucose carbs, which are all healthy for you. So the way that your body works is, as we know, that carbs are a main source of energy in your body. So the way that the carbs will work, so you intake carbs, and a portion of those carbs will go and raise your blood sugar. Another portion of those carbs will come and they'll be stored for energy. So let's say I'm going to work out, my carbs are what's giving me that energy. And now on higher carb days, what happens is you take in essentially more carbs. So the excess carbs, or the extra carbs that you're using, actually break down into fat tissue and become stored fat. So let's get back on topic. What is carb cycling? So for instance, I'll use my example, and you guys might have it differently depending on your calorie intake, your carbohydrate intake, your fat intake, and your protein intake. So for me, around the last couple of weeks of my diet, or in this case my prep, I was eating about 170 grams of protein to 190 grams of protein. For my fats, they stayed pretty low, seeing how my carbs were a bit higher. So my fats ranged anywhere from 50 grams of fats to 70 grams of fats. And I tried to avoid as much saturated fat as possible. Now speaking with my carbs. So on average, my carbs were looking like anywhere from 250 grams of carbs a day to 270 grams of carbs a day. So that was an average day for me. Now, as the process got harder, longer, and whatnot, my carbs started to decrease. So I went down from 270 grams of carbs, and now I'm coming down into 200 grams of carbs. Further down into my diet, I came down to about 150 grams of carbs. On days where my carbs were low, which would be about 4 days out of the week, I would increase my fats. Now the reason I did that is to compensate for my carbs. So I'm not bringing in any more excess carbs to my body, and now my carbohydrates are going mainly stored to energy. So I would compensate that by raising my fats to about 70 grams and decreasing, so having a deficit of carbs. What that means in simpler words is I would have a low intake of carbs So a low number of carbs and then a high intake of fats. So a higher number on my fats than what I'm typically used to. So that would happen for about 4 days a week. Now on the 5th day, my carb loading day, you want to lower your fats a bit because now you're compensating with carbs. My protein stays about the same. On average, it stayed around 170 to 190 grams of protein. But you want to lower fat and higher carbs so that you can compensate for each other. So essentially, on a high carb day, you want to use this on a high training day or a high performance day. So I would use this on a bench press day or a leg day. Those are 2 days in the gym where I find that I train hardest. Now, on my carb loading days, what I would do is I would add about 50 to 70% of my carbs back to my diet to give me that extra source of energy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something, maybe how to carb cycle. If you feel like I explained something, it was too confusing for you or something like that, leave a comment down below. We can make a follow-up video or I can just reply to your comment. So give it a thumbs up, make sure you hit subscribe, and there will definitely be more dieting videos, workout videos, and yeah, just all kinds of videos that we're going to be releasing throughout the next couple of months. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Much love. See you later, marshmallows.